Hi, my name is Lindsay Crawford. As I said in my introduction, I not only work in schools, but I mostly work in museums. One of the museums I work in is at James Monroe Museum, which is in downtown Fredericksburg. I decided today while doing this project that I wanted to not only talk about how the assistive technology could be used in the classroom, but maybe some ways that I could possibly translate it into my own work at museums. After looking at the exhibits, I came up with a few ideas on how there's low, mid, and high-tech assistive technology not only in classrooms but in museums as you today. So the examples I'll be using today will be included in the museum setting, but I will go into more detail about how they can be used in the classroom and in museums. My first example of low-tech assistive technology would go ahead and be the Velcro. I know if some people are familiar with it. I know I have in the past seen students use it in the past. I went with this one because I like how it is usable for students who may have restrictions on mobility or may be nonverbal. In the classroom, for instance, I have seen students use this when they are nonverbal to express certain things that they may need from the teacher, to express answers they may have for a certain quiz or question, and also to, if they have mobility restrictions, they may use it to, instead of, say, writing, they may use it to answer certain questions. In the museum side of things, it was used for, once again, the same possible reasons. Sometimes we have students come in who are nonverbal, and so they use something like this, what's called an object bank. It's just an interactive activity versus answering the questions out loud. Students who are nonverbal or may have mobility restrictions and may need just a little more time have the chance to just relocate the different pieces of the Velcro onto different areas. So for instance, this one, there's an object bank on the right here, and students can pick them up and move them to what James Monroe packed. The question simply was, what would James Monroe probably pack on his trip? So this is just an example of how, once again, if students are nonverbal, or if they may have mobility restrictions, they can go ahead and still interact with the museum or interact in the classroom along with their classmates. My next one was a little bit harder for me, honestly. I won't lie, I had a bit of toggling back and forth between what mid-level tech would count as, but I went ahead and went with the iPad. I've seen many iPads actually used in the classroom as well. For instance, in the classroom in the past, I've seen students with visual impairments using them before, or also if they're nonverbal as well, they can use their iPad to not only, for instance, get online text to read certain books in the classroom and zoom in on the text to enlarge it. Some of them also use it to respond to things such as clicking yes or no. For the museum, once again, on the right here, you see there's two options when you use the kiosk. So on the left side, and I wish it would have worked, but the press here for collections, people who will want to see more in depth what the collections look like can click on the different pictures, get information on the collection, zoom in on them, see them up close. Sometimes visitors come in with mobility restrictions and are not able to get as up close to the objects as they would like, and this really gives them a chance to see it up close and see the details that they may have missed. And that's something too I feel like can be utilized in the classroom once again, because sometimes with visual impairments, it's really good to have that ability to do it, to have it closer to you. Also, just another thing I've noticed that I've been used in classrooms before and that were used also in the museum today, there's a quiz section, which once again can be used for students who may be nonverbal, may need more assistive technology to complete certain tasks. I like this quiz because it has larger print and also has larger buttons, so students who may have mobility restrictions or have visual restrictions can go ahead and click the button and have more space to click versus having a very small button to respond. My last one is a little different. This is actually at the Kennedy Museum. It's the 6th floor exhibit audio guide. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm giving it the correct credit that it needs. But So the James Monroe Museum has this, Chatham has this. Oh, James Monroe Museum's working on it. Chatham and Fredericksburg Battlefield Center have this. Sadly, because of the shutdown, they're closed, so I wasn't able to actually get pictures of those in that area. But this is another example just to show of a high-tech assistive technology that you may see in the classroom, but also in museums. The classroom, I have seen this before as well. It's a little different, obviously, than an app. Most of the time, it's been audio that I've seen students using with either like a certain app or even an iPad or just a different software where they can hear certain, like, say, like they're having auditory restrictions, they can listen into different say lessons that they're missing out on otherwise. They can hear teacher lecture recordings for higher level students, obviously. And there's also, for instance, if you have students who are second language learners, this gives them a chance to have different languages, for instance, Espanol, Portuguese, French. So when you have those different students coming in who are still learning, they're still second language learners and they're still processing and getting to know English. This gives them a chance to still interact and read along with the class and still preserve their first language, which is very important, but also assisting them in completing the tasks that are given to them. And this is just the same at museums. We have a lot of ASL visitors come in, and it could be the same for the classroom as well, where you have ASL students. This gives them a chance to still interact with the museum, just like other visitors. They still get the same tour, but it's just in a different audio version. ASL, they have videos actually, which I wish I could show you, where they do different signing for different parts of the exhibit. And that just goes back to, once again, all about making sure the visitors get the same experience. I hope it's okay that I did both, education in the classroom and also museums, but I did want to try to bridge them together and see that certain things from classrooms can be easily translated to museums, and I thought James Monroe Museum was a perfect example of that. Thank you for listening, and have a great day.